I am a computer engineer, which means I have no job. So instead of doing useless things like getting enough money to buy eggs, I decided to make a software that turns hand gestures into keyboard inputs and attempts to beat Minecraft with it so I could prove my degree isn't worthless. First thing I had to do was make a script that turns the hand gestures into the actual game output. This would be easy to do since I went to college for 4 years studying programming. The plan was simple. Use one hand for controlling the mouse movement and the second hand for the actual game outputs. So I cooked up a script that detected both of my hands and mapped movement to my right hand and created gestures for left click, right click, scroll up and scroll down for my left hand. This meant I officially had a functional mouse. It wasn't the greatest, but it was good enough to click the like and subscribe button under the video. Testing it in game gave slightly different results, but I eventually fixed it and I can now look around me at what seems to be 7 FPS. Next, I created key bindings for the bare essentials: moving forward, moving backwards, open inventory, toggle jump, and toggle crouch. I also occasionally opened F3, but that was mainly for user experience, so I decided to not really make a keybind for that. So after a little bit of testing, I was pretty happy with the software. There would be a few fixes later, but that wouldn't be for a while. So I decided to just bite the bullet and started a world. For the first hour or two, I was mainly getting used to everything, trying stuff out, seeing if the software has any kinks, and overall took it easy. After getting some wood and stone tools, I finally had to face my biggest challenge yet: a cow. I showed the most emotion I ever had since the incident.
Yes. Yes.
And got a little more food. Nighttime came and I was not in the business of dying, so I dug into a wall. And began mining. I eventually felt good about my fit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I resurfaced, got bullied, explored, upset some vegans, hid in a hole, and slept. At this point, I was pretty happy because I had set my spawn point, which meant that I would be okay with pretty much any death as long as I wasn't near lava. Although it took me a while to get to this point, I honestly wasn't that mad because I was starting to get used to playing in this odd fashion, but I did realize I would probably be dying a lot in this challenge, so instead of doing whatever it was that I was doing, I went looking for a village. I did manage to find a desert village, borrowed some of their resources, and after going through whatever this was, 3 hours into the challenge, I had a place to stay, decent food, and some basic resources. On the first day or two at the village, I mainly laid low, gathered resources, and pestered the locals. But I eventually made a mine because the plan was to get some diamonds, mine obsidian, and make the portal at the surface. That way I don't really have to go down too often. So I went mining, eventually lost all my stuff again, and this time I actually got annoyed and decided to fix a couple of things in the software. The first obvious problem I saw was the flickering. To fix this, I took a page from the wagon wheel effect. If you match the frame rate of the camera with the helicopter's rotor speed, or a factor of the rotor speed, it looks as if the rotor isn't spinning. Similarly, by matching the frame rate of my camera with the times the light wasn't flickering, it would just look continuous. The second issue was the mouse lag. My software initially processed each frame sequentially, first capturing a frame, determining the mouse position, identifying the sign being performed, then doing a keyboard output and moving the mouse, before moving to the next frame. This caused delays in fetching new frames. To resolve this, I implemented a separate thread for frame processing. Since it runs independently from the main sequence, I would be able to capture frames without having to wait. And oh my god, why didn't I do this earlier? I can finally look around me like a normal person, and I'm so much more unlikely to die.
Bruh.
Flint and steel.
I psyched myself up a bit, and it was finally time to enter the Nether. I was literally praying that I would spawn in a fortress, otherwise getting a blaze rod would be nearly impossible. Luckily, my prayers were answered. I got blasted by the vengeful ghasts of agony and hunted by aggressive men much taller than I am. So, I did what us short guys do best and hid in a cave and punched their knees out. I banked some of the pearls, did some exploring, and closed the recording. Surprising to nobody, I fell into lava and lost all my stuff.
This guy stinks!
Looking at this situation, it would probably make sense to just give up. I mean, it had been 6 hours, I hadn't gotten a single blaze rod, and I lost all my stuff again. I died way too many times, and although I was on normal mode, I actually thought I was on easy the whole time, putting even more salt into the wound. The thing is, although this challenge just seems like a fun little side quest, I was really doing it for a reason. I wanted to build something to remind myself of that feeling of making something that I actually wanted to make, to feel that spark we feel when we accomplish something for ourselves. And on top of that, the great thing about being the first person to complete a challenge is that you will always be the first for the rest of eternity. And that was something I wanted. So it was time to lock in. When I finally got to the end, I had lost most of my stuff due to the silverfish fiasco, so I decided to take the towers down with the method I knew best, brute force. When I saw that she was taking damage, I had a quick staring contest so I could get my axe and end an entire species. We traded some hits, and after 12 hours, 41 Minecraft days, and 71 deaths, we finally knew. Can you beat Minecraft using only sign language? Yes. Yes, you can. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. This took a really long time to make, and it let me know that I should make more stuff like it. I'm new to this and have no idea what I'm doing, so if you have any suggestions, make sure to comment them. That's all from me. Bye bye.